time. Touch wood, at the minute we're okay. I'm hoping he might have thrown that out, and you're hoping that there's been a conversation with Thomas Tuchel, with Saka and Pickett and Rice, whatever, just saying worst ways out at the 2 friendlies they play in 1.
Yeah.
And if you can't come to that agreement, you tell Declan Rice and Saka and all these international players. By the way, you tell your international manager that you've got a stiff calf or you've got a bit of twinge in your back. You don't play. You get back here because this is.
We lost Magalhaes via like that.
Exactly. This is going to be the most important time of their careers. Forgetting it now, I'm not bothered about international. I'm not bothered about World Cup. As a club career, they are on the brink of history.
Finally achieving what we want.
So if you have to throw one in and don't play for your country, tough. Because this doesn't come round season after season after season. Do you know what I mean? This is the most important. And I'm more club than cup. Club is, for me, is more important than country. I'd rather we won the League Cup than England won the World Cup. I get miles more pleasure out of us Gooners winning a trophy because England don't win the World Cup. You're upset for a day or two.
Yeah, and then you get on with
You're a Gooner, it upsets you for like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, you hear all the nonsense.
Yeah, so the tired thing, I've never been in that camp, to be fair.
Sporting Lisbon to come next. I didn't expect that to be the case. I thought Bodo Glimt had done enough in the first leg. I did see probably about 70 minutes of the Sporting Bodo game while I was at the Emirates Stadium waiting for our kickoff. It was fully deserved. It's not going to be as easy a tie as it looks on paper, is it, CJ? There's no easy games in this competition.
As cliche as it is, I make you right, H, man. There's no easy games. You cannot sleep on anyone. You can't write anyone off. I don't think the players or Arteta or any club has that kind of feeling. I think that's a kind of brazen, bit ignorant from fans, if I'm honest. I did feel a couple of Arsenal fans kind of had that with the Leverkusen game. You can't do that against Sporting. The last time we played them in Europe, what happened? Everyone remembers when we got dumped out of the Europa League. And some of our players like Martinelli were there. So you've got to take every game as it comes. You've got to take it with the utmost importance. And every team that is here for a reason, guys. Like, Bodo Glimt's probably, I wouldn't say the neutral's favourite to win the Champions League, but everyone naturally wants to get behind them. They've dumped them out. Sporting came back from behind. Like, their comeback in the Champs is probably up there with some of the best Champions League comebacks we've seen. You've got to take them seriously. But as we've been doing, one game at a time, just do the job, let's go through to the next round. And as Perry was saying, let's try and win multiple silverware, man. Get over the line. It's business end.
Do you know what it is? I'd rather Sporting Lisbon than Bodo Glimt because travelling and the pitch. What anybody says, I know they're professional, elite footballers at the top level, the pitch does make a difference. It does give you an advantage. Exactly. So travelling-wise, you know what I mean, and like style of play-wise and pitch-wise, I think it's fallen for us. I'd rather I was hoping that I didn't think they'd go through, but I was hoping it would be Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the easier trip in terms of all those
and also,
factors.
Again, you've got to respect the opposition, but every game we play now, it's about us.
Yeah.
You have to know how they play, you have to know their setup, obviously you have to know their philosophy, you have to know their set pieces, but it's about us imposing ourselves on the opposition. And we did that off the ball. We were excellent. Again, we were pressing last night. And I think we dropped a little bit too deep. There was about a 5-7 minute period in second half where we dropped. And you see Arteta telling, but that's natural when you run up. You've got to be brave enough just to put, because you invite pressure on, you invite balls into the box. But I'm more concerned what we do.
We got to talk a little bit about Max Dowman in isolation. I know we touched on his contribution at the weekend, but this is a special, special player. And I know Mikel Arteta keeps saying, bring the temperature down around him. He's 16 years old. We've got to be really careful not to overhype him. But when someone is clearly that special, it's really, really difficult, isn't it, to turn a blind eye to what he's doing. I mean, I'm going to throw this out there. This sounds like a massive overreaction and a huge statement. But I know, I'm going to do it.
You're getting carried away.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
The emotions are getting you, you're building up.
I'm keen to know what he's about to say, man.
I'm going to say that talent-wise, and obviously football's more than just about having natural talent. You've got to stay injury-free. You've got to have the right attitude. You've got to work well. You've got to have the right coaches. Things have got to go your way to a degree. I think talent-wise, this guy has the ability to go on and be England's best ever. I genuinely believe that.
Last night, H?
I genuinely believe that the talent is there.
Natural
Is that
talent,
a wild take?
I think it is wild, but he has talent. As you said, talent's got to correlate. Like, from everybody that knows Max Dowman, he's got a great family. He's obviously around great people in his close circle. He just looks like a young lad playing football. Right now, he's probably in the wow moment of his career where he can do no wrong. Of course, there's going to be an element of expectation. He's 16, 17. It's very different doing that against Everton, and I'm not playing it down, but if, you know, you do it against Everton, at some point, we're going to demand you do it against Leipzig. He's got all the talent in the world, and talent's one thing. Psychologically, the man's prepared. He's just a young lad playing football. He gets kicked, he gets back up. He takes someone on, it doesn't work out, he gets back up. And I'm not shocked of what he did. Well, I am as a fan. I'm not shocked of what he did against Everton in terms of like handling the temperament and things, because Arteta brought him on at Anfield. I know the game was kind of done, but in what world do you bring a 16-year-old at Anfield, one of the biggest grounds in this club, if you don't believe in him? So I think Arteta's right to bring the temperature down, but some people just have a God-given talent, and Max Dowman's got that. So we have to guide him in the right way. It's nice that he's, you know, getting a lot of love from internally at Arsenal, but you can't not be excited about that. I don't subscribe to the rhetoric of some people that got nothing to do with Arsenal. Oh, can he get an England shout and he's this, that and the third? Because I do think in this nation, we big these players up to turn them down, but generally the sky's the limit. And like, surely it'd be fair to say he's the best talent that's come out of A-Land, like, really and truly.
I think he's the most naturally talented footballer since Paul Gascoigne. Like,
yeah.
Even neutrals used to watch Paul Gascoigne, and the way that he used to take people on dribble. He had that strange style, didn't he? Like a rugby player where he could put his arms up and he'd smash people off the ball as he was running with it. And the thing about him at the minute is, I did say, people thought I was exaggerating when I saw him play live against Manchester United in the FA Youth Cup under-18s. And he was like 15, they're 18, and he ran the show. And he wowed me. I was like, oh my God, he's as good as what people are saying it is. He's playing with no fear. Do you know what I mean? Everything is positive. He comes on, he dribbles. If he gets tackled, it don't matter, he dribbles again. That's what he has to keep. And as you get older, then you set a standard, and then the expectations go higher and higher. And obviously, opposition get used to you. The other massive thing he's got in his favour, he's got stuff that you can't teach, right? And the goal that he scored against Everton, you can't teach, because normal average players like me, when you go past Mykolenko with the header, your first thought is, right, I've got Martinelli inside me, I'll pass it to him, he's free. His first thought was, no, I'm going to sit Dewsbury Hall down and I'm going. And you can see Martinelli inside him going, oh, really? He's looking at him and say, I should be running this in. So you can't teach that. Then he's going to have to come in when he becomes a regular, of getting used to the tactical side of it and what Arteta expects you off the ball and all that sort of stuff. But I equated his style to Lionel Messi, because he stops, he starts, he stops, he starts. He's got a low centre of gravity. His balance is great. He's fluid. But the thing that wowed me even more was he's 6 foot. Yeah. Those sort of players that you see, everybody I spoke to, Nucci, haven't seen him. I'll say, how tall do you think Max Dowman is? And they'll go 5'8", back 5'8", 5'9". And then you go, he's 6 foot. They're like, what?
And still growing.
And what they've got to do is, which they're brilliant at Howland, is managing their bodies when their body's developing. You see how brilliant they've done, obviously, Bukayo Saka at first, and then obviously Lewis Skelly coming in, Nwaneri coming in. So they managed that really, really well. And they've managed him. But he's just... The great thing about it is, at this stage of the season, he's a wild card. He's playing free. So
the gaffer says go out there and do your thing.
Exactly. He will be used quite a lot. And I'll throw one out there for you, H, as well. If I was Thomas Tuchel, I'd be getting him training with England this week. So he could just have a look at him and see what he's like. Because in a squad of, is it 26, I think? I'm 20, can't remember. In a squad, there's always 2 or 3 players that have no chance of playing. You know, you have like a left back that gives you cover, right back. I'd rather take someone like Max Dowman if I was a manager. You know, playing with that freedom. I mean, you just know in tight games, he could go and turn.
Could be a wild card for you.
So if he plays more minutes towards the end of the season, I wouldn't rule it out that he could be in the England squad.
In that
he could be the next Theo Walcott.
I look at him and I just think, and I, like you, Perry, saw him live in a few academy games, and I always came away from those games going, yep, he's as good as everyone says he is. But what I saw in those games was a guy that, when he got the ball, wanted to dribble every single time. And my worry when he first came into the first team picture was, would he now realise that that can't be done at first team level? You can't dribble every single time. And would he add that variety to his game? And every time I've seen him play for the first team, whether that be in pre-season or coming on in games under Mikel Arteta this season, I think he's shown that he knows that he's playing a different sport almost now.
Even Brighton in the League Cup.
Exactly. He's shown that he's aware of the differences. And that shows maturity, intelligence, and that he's been well coached. And that's what gives me the encouragement to make statements like the one I just made, where if this kid keeps it up and stays on that path, and I do also compare him to Messi stylistically. Obviously, he's got a long way to go before those two can be in the same conversation. But style-wise, I agree. If he can keep this up, there's no reason why we won't be sitting here in 10 years and saying Max Dowman's one of the best players we've ever had.
Well, I said, when I saw him play after that under-18 game, I said there'll be the talent that he has, there'll be two reasons that he doesn't maximise that talent. One will be injuries, if you're unlucky with injuries, which obviously touch wood, we hope that he's not. Or two, it's your attitude. And everybody says his attitude is spot on, that he's down to earth, he's got a brilliant family behind him.
You wouldn't think he's Max Dowman if you heard him speak. He's so humble.
And what they'll do is there'll be this clamour, I'll let him do his interviews. I don't care what anybody else thinks. We've got to do what's best for Max Dowman. And if it means that he's not going in front of the cameras, it might be a situation where he has no choice, because it might be after a massive game, i.e. the final on Sunday, that he does something brilliant and, and they get him and they interview him. But it won't bother him, because you're 60, you don't care. Yeah. The world's your lobster when you're 60. You know what I mean?
Living your dream.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going, all right, I'll just take it as it comes. And there's going to come times where he's not playing very well. So, you'd have that little bit of sort of battle with yourself where you can get back to the level that you know you can play. But I think this is where we've got to just enjoy it. We've just got to enjoy it and go, like, the wow factor. He's announced himself on Saturday, an iconic moment that no Arsenal fan will ever forget. I think even neutral fans will never forget. Do you know what I mean? So he's already got himself like in the club's history with all the youngest players, youngest scorer, whatever. But that one moment, all he's going to do is he's going to think, yeah, I'm all right, I can do this.
I want more of that.
He won't doubt himself, which as you get older, you do have negative thought. At the minute, nothing's negative with him. But we've got to do what's best for him, not obviously what everybody else thinks that should be happening.
Very, very quick fire, yes or no answer, because we've got to move on. Is he a starter next season, CJ?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perry?
Yep.
There you go.
That's how, thanks for that.
That's how highly everyone rates Max Dowman.
Yeah. Max Dowman reminds you why you enjoy watching football, man. Yeah, he will be, man.
Exactly. And it don't feel like there's too many of that type of player around anymore, which really kind of means that when a player like that comes along, there's a greater hype and
the most boring team's got one of the most exciting young players now.
There you go. Boring Arsenal. What we do have to look forward to this weekend, guys, is a cup final, which we're all very, very excited about. Perry, I'll come to you first on this. How significant a boost in terms of our title, Champions League and FA Cup chances would getting this one over the line first be?
It's huge, but the psychological aspect, everybody's saying that, I don't think it's that big a thing, because I think we've got rid of that now. Like, we're unbeaten against Man City in the last 6, 1-4 drawn to. Before, I think we lost 15 out of 16 against them. So the psychological thing against Man City isn't the thing. It's this group of players winning their first trophy together. That is the big thing. And I'm just looking, I actually think, because of the way Man City play, again, that could suit us. All I don't want us to do is, I don't want us to go like Guardiola did when he played us at the Emirates, where he went, Mike Bassett, 4-4-2, we'll sit deep, which he'd never, ever done before. I want us to still be on the front foot. I want us to still go and close down and be brave. You know there's going to be a massive battle between Gabriel and Haaland, or Saliba and Haaland. There was a couple of times, Kafane for Bailou, it was really good in the first leg, wasn't as effective last, but there was a couple of times where Blažević went long and Saliba tried to get in front a little bit too quick. And there was one time actually where Saliba was the wrong side, and I think it was Grimaldi on the left. He'd have played him in, Kafane was in. So we've just got to be aware, you go and engage with Haaland, but you don't overcommit yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, again, from the outside, what'll happen is, if we win it, it's massive psychological boost. We're on the rise. If you lose it, it's like, all right, so we lost that, but we're still in a brilliant place in the league. We're still in a brilliant place in the Champions League. We've still got the FA. Do you know what I mean? So you've not a must win, but a win we'll see even more positive momentum. But then if you don't, then you have to find a way where you park it, you put it to one side and say, look, that's a one-off. We've got to, sort of bounce back again. But I'm actually really looking forward to it. I think, again, it's a weird thing for the Champions League games and even this final. I won't get that foreboding feeling in the pit of your stomach. You know what I mean? Where Premier League games you're going in and you're thinking, oh no, we've got to win.
Everything's on knife edge.
We've got to win this. We've got this one. This is out of the scale of must win. This is 70 to 80%. It's not the be all and end all, but for this group of players, the belief it will give them that they have that moment and they win a major trophy, and then like you kick on, it's going to be like a brilliant occasion. And I'm actually, without feeling a bit nervous about it, I'm actually looking forward to it, which is a bit scary.
We've all been burnt by City in the past in recent years, right? I know Perry's mentioned that our record against them of late is much better, and that's obviously a positive thing. I'm interested to get you guys' thoughts. I'll start with you, CJ, on how you think their exit from the Champions League might impact them. What do you think the mindset is at Man City right now? Is it, our season's falling apart, we better win this, we better rally and get going again? Or are they going to be feeling sorry for themselves a little bit? How do you think they'll respond to what's happening?
Harry, they can't afford to feel sorry for themselves. As an Arsenal fan, of course I hope that's the case. They've had a lot of disappointments this season, and it's a cup final. I mean, you've got thousands of Arsenal fans that are going to make the trip to Wembley. You've got however many are coming from Manchester all the way down to City. They can't feel sorry for themselves. At the end of the day, as Perry kind of said earlier, you're in a privileged position. As much as we always want to win, it's a game of football. It's not like being a doctor where you make a mistake and someone loses their life. You don't win a game, so what? You have to want to stand up to be counted. And, in terms of the psychological factor, of course, they're battered, they're bruised, their change room is probably divided, but this is now when leaders have to stand up to be counted. I've never been a professional footballer, but I'd imagine it's easy to stand up and be a big guy in the change room when everything's going right. When everything's going wrong and everybody knows how good Pep is and how these players are, now you kind of need to show your mettle, and it's a full circle moment for them. Our games against City used to be a write-off. They used to beat us up, slap us on our heads, and Pep would say, oh, there, you've been a good boy. Now, you've seen with the Nicholas Hover, you saw with the Miles Lewis-Skelly. As Perry said, when when they're camped in their own box, it's a full circle moment. It's like the master against the apprentice. So, City are probably battered and bruised. For us, we just need to go out there and enjoy it, man. Go out. This is the realm we wanted to be in. For these players, you've not won a trophy. Get that first kind of monkey off your back, and who knows what this could mean for the season. But in terms of it directly against Arsenal, against City, like if Arsenal beat City, they're going to think they're there for the taking. I don't really feel there's an intangible between the two sides, man. But City do look like divided. And what better time to rally than a cup final? A football career is short. I know they've won a lot of silverware, but yeah, man.
Do you know what? I think the Real Madrid game might do us a favour because they went down to 10 men, didn't they, after 20 minutes. That does take a lot out your leg. I know that he made substitutions, obviously, to save them for Sunday. And football is cyclical, and Man City have had an unbelievable run of dominance. Unbelievable. You think the intensity with Guardiola to make them keep winning. And the pendulum is just slightly swinging, which happens in any level of sport. And what we've got to make sure is that pendulum keeps swinging over to our side, where we could be the next force. Could be. We still haven't done it yet. Do you know what I mean? We still haven't won any competitions to go, we are the next. So this is the pendulum. What you do is you want to make sure that it keeps swinging in our direction rather than having a little falter. And from Man City's point of view, they've got experience, they've got players who've been there before, obviously they've got the manager who's been there before. They will see this very much as a one-off game. That's it, just one-off game on Sunday. And you'll find a little bit of extra energy. And the first goal, if we score first, then it's going to be a big test for Man City. Yeah. Whereas if they score first, I still think we've got a chance of coming back. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of little psychological battles that to be won, but it's brilliant to be talking about it.
It is indeed.
The League Cup, that could be, as a group, you need to win your first trophy. When we won it in 87, then that became the catalyst for us to go and win the title in 89, and then 91, and then 93, the FA Cup and the League Cup, and then, do you know what I mean? So then you don't realise until you have gone through that period that you look back and you go, and because it was against Liverpool in 87, it was a massive competition then, they were the best team in Europe. That gives you a belief as a group of players. You actually think, we're arriving here. We're a proper force.
Facts.
Mikel's got some big decisions to make at the weekend. We keep talking about the strength of the squad, but with that comes decisions that need to be made with regards to who plays. I suppose one of the big talking points will be who plays in goal. Kepa's played throughout this competition so far, but it's a cup final. Do you go with your best? Would you, if you were Mikel, is that where you'd go with this?
I'm going David Raya, man. I don't know where you lot are, but I'm going David Raya. Of course, it's going to be harsh on Kepa, but you go with your best keeper. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You win the game, no one talks about it. I know Kepa's kind of got us here. I know he's experienced. I know the manager's got the amount of faith in him. But at the end of the day, it's one of your most important games of the season. Raya's the better goalkeeper. For me, be cruel to Raya, to be kind to the squad and the Arsenal fans. And if we win, who cares? And as you said off air when we was just generally talking about this when we got in, Kepa, apologies, played a key part in the run here. I know it will be like bitterly disappointing not to start the final, but Raya has to play, man. Like, start him.
Perry?
Don't win anything on sentiment.
Exactly.
So it's brutal. And the thing that happens is, I want David Raya to play. If you play Kepa and he makes a mistake, you leave yourself open to, you're not taking it seriously. You let sentiment get in the way because it's ruthless. And if Kepa's a little bit upset, I'm really sorry, tough. You're coming to an elite football club, these decisions that he has to make. So 100%, I'd rather see David Raya.
And I know we talk about how lucky and fortunate we are as a football club to have two very good goalkeepers, but there is a significant gap between them. Like, there is a significant gap. With Raya, he's got the capability of making match-winning saves. I know we've seen Kepa do that at points in his career, but the biggest thing for me is what Raya does with the ball at his feet. And Man City, generally speaking, are a high-pressing team. I know they didn't do that at the Emirates when we met earlier in the season. I know that they were 1-0 up early and maybe that changed their plan a little bit and changed the dynamic. But we need a goalkeeper, the way we play, that can receive the ball under pressure comfortably and pick passes out. And that's the biggest difference I see when Kepa plays over Raya. It's not so much they're coming and claiming crosses, all of which, by the way, Raya is better at, but it's that element of the game that we really miss when Raya doesn't play. Is that fair?
Kepa is a very, very good Premier League goalkeeper. David Raya is a world-class goalkeeper.
There you go.
There's your difference. David Raya, whichever way you'd want to go, whether you're Neuer or Donnarumma, whatever, you'd say that David Raya was in the top three. And I don't put a curse on it because if he plays, he could roll one under his foot or something. But the thing with David Raya is he's actually going longer now, quicker, into Gyökeres. It's not, he actually can ping it in, he can put it in the channels, and he pulls off big saves at big times. And even against Leverkusen, I think Cavani had his chance, didn't he, where it's 2-0 with 5 minutes to go, he pulls off a world-class save with his big right palm. If that goes to 2-1, then that gets a little bit...
Well.
That little bit, in the first leg as well, that gets a bit nervy. So, Kepa was a brilliant signing. Do you know what I mean? Because the drop-off isn't massive. Yeah. It's a drop-off to Kepa, but as I said, he's still a very good, established Premier League goalkeeper. So when he plays, after fans don't go, oh God, this could be a bit difficult. But David Raya is just better. And it's
about a smaller drop-off as you can accept, right?
Exactly.
Because there is going to be a drop-off. No goalkeeper is going to come and play second fiddle.
You're not going to get two world-class goalkeepers.
Exactly. Absolutely. There's a couple of other decisions. Calafiori or Nkapie at left-back. Do you go Havertz or Gyökeres up front? There's a few bits and pieces, isn't there? Is it Martinelli or Madueke or Trossard on the left? What do you go with? There's a few decisions for Mikel to make.
Do you know what? Out of Calafiori and Nkapie, that would probably be my hardest one. I'd probably lean towards Nkapie because I just think Nkapie has been in a good moment. He ain't put a foot wrong. I've got all the confidence if Calafiori goes out there, especially going forward. And City do look like they can be got at defensively. In terms of up front, it's a weird one because a part of me thinks, do you go with Gyökeres from the start? Kai could be a game changer off the bench. Based on how I think City are going to set up, and if you ask me on Sunday, I'll probably change my mind. I'd probably start Kai and bring Gyökeres off the bench. Trossard starts for me over Martin.
You said Gyökeres was brilliant last night.
He was brilliant.
So you drop him. Thanks for that. Well, I hope you're not my manager. Imagine if you're Gyökeres, you're like, are you having a laugh?
As you said, Perry, we're not here for sentiment, man. Kai drop into midfield, Gyökeres against tight legs, we win the trophy, we're happy, man.
So I'm assuming, Perry, you're going with Gyökeres.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But, I just think because the moment that he's in, Gyökeres looked more like the Sporting Lisbon player last night. Do you know what I mean? Where he comes into him, he gets in. And by the way, I know, like, the dimensions of Wembley don't seem like it's a bigger pitch, but trust me, when you play there, it feels like a bigger pitch. And if I was the Man City centre-halves, the player that I'd want to play against the least would be Gyökeres because of getting in the corners and getting it. On the Nkapie and Calafiori, if they were both fit and playing at the top of their game, I'd go Calafiori. Yeah. But I think Nkapie is fitter than Calafiori. And he probably doesn't give you the goal threat because Calafiori's brilliant at playing in like the inverted position, but in the 1v1s, he's like outstanding.
Warrior.
Do you know what I mean? So whoever plays on that, whether it's Doku or whatever, he's excellent. The other thing you got is during Timber, if he's going to be fit, you know what I mean? So, and how fit he is. Because again, we're in a very lucky position where there's no drop-offs. Whoever plays, they're all at that
It could
same
be a
level.
starter
They
in
give
their
you
own right.
different options, you know, and different facets, but when they come in, again, whatever team he plays, Arsenal fans ain't look and go, I'll tell you what, it's not as strong as what I thought it would be. Doesn't matter which.
just nitpick a
doesn't
couple
matter what it
with
is. Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely.
So where'd you go?
I'd go.
You didn't answer.
Oh, it's a tough one up front.
Get
is
off
the big
that
debate for me.
6-foot fence, HV.
I would go Kai from the start. I would go Kai from the start because I think, basically, for me, I've actually really enjoyed the moments when Gyökeres has come off the bench.
Yeah.
When the game's a bit more stretched, when his running power becomes even more of a factor in the game, that's when I really like him.
That's my approach.
I think he has scored goals